Have you ever wondered if the whispers in the wind through the Appalachian pines are just the trees talking, or something far older and hungrier calling your name? I first heard this tale from a man named Elias Crowe, a weathered soul from the hollows of West Virginia, who swore on his mama's grave it happened to him back in the summer of '87. He wasn't one for tall tales, worked the coal mines till his lungs turned black, and after that, he took to guiding hikers through the backcountry. But this story, it shook him to the core, left him staring into the firelight like he was seeing ghosts in the flames. I'll tell it just as he did, in his own words, because some things lose their chill when you pretty them up. So imagine you're sitting across from him, the night pressing in, and listen close. My name's Elias, and back then, I thought I knew those mountains like the veins on the back of my hand. Grew up in a clapboard house tucked into a fold of the Alleghenies, where the fog rolls in thick as cream, and the creeks run cold even in July. Folks around here have stories about the Snarly yo, that black dog with eyes like coals, or the Flatwoods monster that scared the bejesus out of Braxton County back in '52. I always figured they were just yarns to keep kids from wandering too far. But that summer, when I was 28 and cocky as a rooster, I learned different. It started with a job guiding a group of city folks on a week-long trek through the Monongahela National Forest. 4 of them, 2 couples from Pittsburgh, looking for adventure without the hassle of roughing it too much. There was Mark and his wife Lisa, both in their 30s, fit from gym classes but soft around the edges. Then Jack and Sarah, younger, with that wide-eyed excitement that screams, first time in the wild. They paid good money, so I packed my gear, mapped out a route along the old logging trails, and we set off from Spruce Knob, the highest point in the state. The first day was picture perfect. Sun filtering through the canopy, birdsong echoing like a symphony. We hiked about 8 miles, chatting about nothing jobs, city life, how the air tasted cleaner up here. I pointed out the rhododendrons blooming pink and white, warned them about black bears, though I hadn't seen one in years. By dusk, we made camp near a stream, the water gurgling over mossy rocks. I built a fire, and we roasted marshmallows while they swapped stories. Sarah asked about local legends, her eyes sparkling in the firelight. I obliged with a tame one about the ghost of the Greenbrier, a Civil War soldier who wanders the ridges. They laughed, called it spooky but fun. If only they'd known. That night, as the fire died to embers, I lay in my tent listening to the forest breathe. Owls hooting, leaves rustling. Normal sounds. But around midnight, something shifted. A low hum, like a distant train, but there ain't no tracks for miles. I chalked it up to wind in the hollows and drifted off. Morning came gray and damp, mist clinging to the trees like spider webs. We broke camp and pushed on, aiming for an overlook with views clear to Virginia. The trail narrowed, roots snaking across the path like veins. Mark complained about blisters. Lisa teased him. Jack was quiet, snapping photos with his fancy camera. Sarah kept glancing into the woods, like she felt eyes on her. "You hear that?" she asked once, stopping dead. We all froze. Nothing but silence, thick and unnatural. No birds, no insects. Just the creak of branches overhead. I shrugged it off. Forests go quiet sometimes, I said. But inside, a prickle ran up my spine. I'd felt that before, as a kid, when a storm was brewing. We kept moving, but the air grew heavier, the trees closing in tighter. By noon, we hit a clearing, An old meadow where loggers had cleared a swath a century ago. Wildflowers dotted the grass, but something felt off. The colors seemed too vivid, the air too still. Jack wandered off to take pictures, and that's when we heard the first scream. It wasn't human, at least, not fully. A high-pitched wail, like a woman in agony mixed with an animal's howl. It echoed from the tree line, bouncing off the hills until it faded into a gurgle. We all spun toward it, hearts pounding. "What the hell was that?" Mark demanded, his face pale. I grabbed my rifle from my pack, always carried it for bears, and scanned the woods. Nothing. No movement, no tracks. Sarah clutched Jack's arm when he returned, wide-eyed. "Probably a bobcat," I lied, though I'd heard plenty of those, and this wasn't it. Bobcats don't sound like they're dying slow. We hurried on, the mood soared. That afternoon, as we climbed a ridge, Lisa tripped over something half buried in the leaves. She yelped, and we dug it up, a rusted miner's pickaxe. The handle splintered, stained dark with what looked like old blood. "Relic from the old days," I said, but my voice wavered. The mines around here were full of ghosts' men, crushed in collapses, their bodies never recovered. We left it there, but the find hung over us like a cloud. Camp that night was tense. We pitched tents in a small glen, the stream nearby swollen from recent rains. I built a bigger fire, and we ate in silence, the flames crackling too loud in the quiet. Sarah tried to lighten things with a joke, but it fell flat. Around 10, the hum returned, closer this time, vibrating in my chest. "There it is again," Jack whispered, his flashlight beam dancing through the trees. We listened, and then came whispers faint, like voices murmuring just out of earshot. Words. Names. I couldn't tell. Mark stood up, shouting into the dark, "Who's out there?" Echoes mocked him. Nothing answered. We zipped into our tents early, but sleep didn't come easy. I lay there, rifle across my lap, staring at the canvas ceiling. Sometime after midnight, a twig snapped outside. Close. I sat up, heart hammering. Peeking through the flap, I saw shadows shifting long, elongated shapes that didn't match the trees. One moved, fluid like smoke, vanishing behind a trunk. I blinked, and it was gone. Hallucination? Exhaustion? I didn't know, but the cold sweat on my skin was real. Day 3 dawned with rain, a steady drizzle that turned the trail to mud. We slogged on, clothes clinging, morale sinking. The forest felt alive, watchful. Branches snagged at our packs like fingers. Roots tripped us with purpose. Sarah lagged behind, complaining of a headache. "Feels like something's pressing on my skull," she said. Jack stayed with her, while Mark and Lisa forged ahead with me. We crested a hill and found an old cabin ruin, walls caved in, roof gone, vines choking the stones. "Let's take shelter," Mark suggested. Inside, the air was musty, laced with rot. Graffiti scarred the walls' names, dates from the 30s. But one carving stood out. It sees you in the dark. Scratched deep, fresh-looking. Lisa shivered. Who would write that? As if in answer, the rain picked up, thunder rumbling distance. We huddled, eating cold sandwiches, when Jack burst in, alone. "Sarah's gone," he gasped. She'd stopped to tie her shoe. He turned for a second, and she vanished. No cry, no tracks in the mud. We searched for hours, calling her name until our throats ached. The woods swallowed our voices. By nightfall, no sign. We camped in the ruin, fire sputtering in the rain. Jack paced, frantic. She wouldn't just wander off. The whispers returned that night, clearer. "My name, Elias," hissed like wind through teeth. I didn't tell the others. The fourth day broke with a eerie calm. Sun piercing the clouds, but casting long shadows that seemed to follow us. We abandoned the planned route, heading back toward civilization, searching for Sarah along the way. Mark argued we should split up. I shot that down sticking together was our only chance. The trail descended into a ravine, walls of rock rising sheer, ferns carpeting the floor. That's where we found the first clue, Sarah's backpack, torn open, contents scattered. Her journal lay open, pages smeared with mud, but one entry legible. The eyes in the trees watch me. They know my secrets. Jack crumpled, sobbing. What secrets? We pressed on, the ravine narrowing, air growing colder despite the sun. Then, a smell rotting meat, sweet and sickening. Around a bend, we found it a deer carcass, gutted, but not by any animal I knew. The cuts were precise, almost surgical, organs arranged in a circle around the body. Symbols etched into the hide swirls and lines that made my eyes hurt to look at. This ain't natural, Lisa whispered. Mark vomited behind a rock. I felt it then, a presence heavy as a storm front. We ran or tried to, slipping in the mud, breaths ragged. By afternoon, the ravine opened to a plateau, an old mining site, rusted carts, collapsed shafts yawning black. We collapsed there, exhausted. Jack muttered to himself, staring into one of the holes. I hear her, he said suddenly, down there. We listened, faint cries echoing up from the dark.
Sarah?
It sounded like her pleading. Against my better judgment, we rigged ropes from our gear and lowered Jack down. He disappeared into the shaft, flashlight beam swallowed. Minutes stretched. Then a scream, his, raw and terrified. We hauled him up, but he was alone. Babbling. So many eyes in the walls. They took her deeper. His arms were scratched, deep gashes like claws. We bandaged him best we could, but fever set in fast. That night, around a meager fire, the hum enveloped us, vibrations shaking the ground. Whispers evolved to words, join us, the mountain hungers. Lisa clung to Mark, tears streaming. I gripped my rifle, scanning the tree line. Shapes moved there, tall, thin figures, limbs too long, faces obscured. They circled, never stepping into the light. Day 5 was hell. Jack delirious. We carried him on a makeshift stretcher. The plateau gave way to dense woods again, thorns tearing at us. The figures followed, glimpses through the foliage, pale skin, eyes glowing faint like foxfire. Mark snapped, firing my rifle into the trees. Bark exploded, but no cries. Only laughter, low and mocking, from all directions. Lisa broke down, confessing something years ago. She'd had an abortion, kept it secret from Mark. They know, she sobbed. The whispers told me. Mark stared, betrayed, but the horror overshadowed it. We stumbled upon another ruin, an old church, steeple toppled, graveyard overgrown. Crosses tilted, names weathered away. Seeking shelter, we entered inside. Dust motes danced in shafts of light, altar cracked. On it, fresh blood, Sarah's necklace dangling from a nail, dripping. Jack, in his fever, laughed. She's with them now. The door slammed shut behind us, wind howling though no breeze stirred. We barricaded it, but scratches came from outside, nails on wood, slow and deliberate. Night fell like a shroud. The scratches turned to pounding, the building shaking. Whispers infiltrated my sins, their secrets, Mark's affair, Lisa's lies, Jack's hidden addictions. The mountain knew, fed on them. I prayed for the first time since childhood, words tumbling out, then silence. Too sudden, Jack bolted up, eyes wild. It's inside, he rasped. We turned, shadows coalesced in the corner, forming a shape. Tall, emaciated, skin like bark, eyes multitudinous, reflecting our faces back distorted. It reached for Lisa, fingers elongating. Mark fired, bullets passing through like smoke. The thing laughed, voice a chorus of the lost. We fled through a window, dragging Jack into the graveyard. Stones cracked underfoot, hands bony, decayed bursting from soil, grasping ankles. I swung my hatchet, severing fingers, but they regrew. We ran blind, forest a maze, the entity pursuing. Its hum a roar. Dawn brought no relief. Jack died mid-morning, body convulsing, foam at his lips. We buried him shallow, marking with stones. Only 3 now broken. The figures herded us deeper, blocking paths back. By noon, we found a cave mouth wide, exhaling faded breath. Inside, carvings on walls, ancient symbols, stories of a spirit, the hunger of the hills, born from miners' greed, feeding on souls. Sarah's body lay there, eyes open, smiling. She chose, the whispers said. Lisa screamed, rushing in. The cave swallowed her. Mark followed, calling her name. Alone, I backed away, but the ground trembled, roots ensnaring me. Dragged in, darkness enveloped. The entity spoke. You've always known me, Elias. I am the mountain's heart. Hours? Days? Time blurred in the void. Visions assaulted my life. Regrets amplified, abandoning my family. The mine accident I caused, burying it deep. The hunger fed, growing stronger. But a spark remained. I fought, clawing through tunnels, light flickering ahead. Emerged bloody, disoriented, on a familiar trail. Stumbled to a road, flagged a truck. Hospital, questioned search parties, found nothing. No bodies, no proof. They called it delirium, exposure. But I know, years passed. I left the mountains, but they never left me. Whispers in dreams, hum in quiet moments. Until tonight, telling you this.
Wait, do you hear it?
The wind. No, closer, look behind you. The eyes, they're here. It wasn't just their story, it's mine, and now yours. Wait, that's not right. Elias told me that, but as he finished, his eyes changed, multiplied, glowing. He lunged, and No, that's impossible. I'm Elias. No, I'm the storyteller. But the hum, it's in my head. The twist I didn't escape. The hunger took me, wears my skin, spreads through stories. Telling it binds you. You're listening, aren't you? Feel it? The mountain calls. Join us.